BBC Radio London Breakfast.
First for London, first for Londoners.
Weekday mornings from 7.
BBC Radio London.
But the funeral of Muhammad Ali is being held in Louisville in Kentucky later. The service will be streamed live in London, outside the O2 in Greenwich, from 7 o'clock this evening. Thousands of people are expected to say a final goodbye to the 74-year-old boxing legend who died a week ago today. A Muslim prayer service was held yesterday. Ali had a long and well-documented relationship with Britain, and particularly with London. Well, earlier this week, details emerged about a remarkable story that's been unheard for decades, revolving around Ali's collaboration with a singer-songwriter who wrote a song that Ali said was his absolute favourite. It was never released, but here's Ali introducing the song.
Yes, Michelle, you know the next song is my favourite song, Child in the Wilderness. And this is what I want the people to hear right now. It's my favourite.
Child of the wilderness, she was talking to me of freedom's dances and what she could see.
That's a little taste of a song called Child of the Wilderness. And joining me in the studio is Robert Williams, the person referred to by Ali as Michelle. Good morning to you, Robert.
Good morning.
Come a little bit closer to your mic so we can hear your voice. We've just heard your singing voice. So tell us this story. How did Ali hear your song? How did you know him?
I went to see him. I thought it would be a good thing to actually play some music and maybe get a good word in, have him say, oh, you know, I like the song. But
where was this? Where did you go to see him?
In Natchez, Mississippi.
So what were you doing there?
Well, he was doing a film there, and I went there specifically to see him, to play him some music. It was an idea I had that I couldn't get out my head. And when I got there, he just loved the music so much, and particularly this song you just heard a bit of called Child of the Wilderness. It was a dream come true for me. He absolutely adored it, and he had me sing it for princes and kings and presidents and all the people that came to visit. And I ended up being the minstrel in the group and staying at his house and traveling on Concorde. And Ali is always will be a wonderful, wonderful person in my life. He made such a big difference. He actually did what he said he was going to do, and I'll always appreciate that.
Can we go backwards a little bit? So you wanted to go and meet him.
Yes.
What was it about him that you wanted to know more about?
Well, he was the most famous man on earth, and I thought to myself, we'll start at the top and see, you know, the music business is a very difficult business. Some people say it's like a lottery, and, you know, people do win, but not necessarily for the right reasons. Not everyone's that talented that gets a number one. Sometimes it's a gimmick. And I thought, well, you know, I've got some talent here, and if I can get people's attention, maybe that will make a difference to my musical career. And Ali seemed to be the person to go and see, to see whether he would appreciate it or not. It was a hunch I had, you know, just one of these things I thought might be fun to do.
And what came out of that? I'll ask you about your musical career in a moment, but was a lifelong friendship. And as you just said, travelling around the world, and you used the word minstrel. You became like a travelling minstrel with him, did you?
Well, you see, every time he met someone, he had to go through the same motions of shaking hands with them and talking to them. And I think that this must have gotten boring to him after a while. So he would take me along, and he would say, Michelle, get your guitar out, play Child of the Wilderness. And Child of the Wilderness is nearly 6 minutes long. So that would cover 6 minutes of the interview. And, there's a lot of these people couldn't figure out why they were sitting there listening to this guy with a guitar sitting beside Ali, who was nodding and listening carefully. And then at the end was saying, "Isn't that great? That's the greatest song I've ever heard. I wanted you to hear that." And, every time he asked me to play it, I played it. Before we left his house, he always said, "Michelle." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You got your guitar?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, then we can go." And it was like, that's how it was. He just loved the music, and he and I got on very well. We had the same philosophy. We'd sit by the fire sometimes having a chat, and I'd sing a song, and we even created a TV show that fell along those lines.
So what was it about Child of the Wilderness that he responded to?
I really don't know. I've guessed on that one. It just struck a chord. And it's why we've decided to donate the song to help with Parkinson's research. And because it is Muhammad Ali's song. He adopted it, he loved it, and we'd like to see it carry on and do some good.
So we can actually buy this song, download it, can we? And the proceeds will go towards Parkinson's research?
100%.
So how do we find out more?
Well, you look up Child of the Wilderness on iTunes. You'll be able to find it there. You can preview it, download it for 99 pence, which is not a lot. And we're hoping to get a lot of people involved, and it's all going to go to Parkinson's research in Ali's name.
And how did your music career go after he had you travelling around with him?
Well, there were ups and downs, and unfortunately, one of the downs was that I handed over the release of the recording in this country to some people who didn't really have the experience. But I thought everything's working so well for me that, this might be another one of those things come along. So it didn't go as fantastically as I thought it would, but I'll always remember those years traveling with Ali, and the times I spent with him are very dear and near to my heart.
So what would you say was the most outstanding characteristic of the man that we didn't know? We knew him as a public figure, as a boxer, as a conscientious objector, as a legend. You spent time with him on a daily basis. What stood out most for you?
Well, I remember him seeing a lady with a little baby in a pram who looked like she didn't have that much money, and he would get me to distract her. Go and talk to her. And I talked to her, and he'd be putting $100 in the baby's hands. This is the kind of guy he was. He would do things when he saw the chance, and it wasn't for the press. There were no press people there. I've got no pictures of him handing out money, but I saw him handing money to people left, right, and center. He always carried cash in his pocket. And we're talking $100 bills, and he was handing $100 bills to people that obviously were in need. And it's encouraged me to be kind for the sake of it as well. It's like I could see it was fun. We had fun doing it, sneaking the money into the little baby's hands. Watching the mother discover it, there was a fun in that Ali had found a way to bring joy to people without using his celebrity. They never knew sometimes that it came from him.
Well, that is a beautiful story. And we've got about 1 minute before we have to take the travel. Will you pick up your guitar and play something for us? I've sprung that on you, haven't I, Robert?
You have. I don't know how well this works here. But
oh, the mics are superb in this studio. Believe me.
Child of the wilderness, she was talking to me of freedom's dances and of what she could see. The sky above her and the stars would show things that philosophers had wanted to know, though she'd never read a book. She knew them all.
The BBC Radio London